I had the privilege of being the first outside individual to shoot with the new DZO Arles Prime lens set. While I was at NAB, the reps let me play with the lenses during the downtime of the trade show, and when I got back, they let me know that that was the very first footage that they had seen from the lenses. So a really cool experience overall. With that being said, because these were only production samples and because we only had 15 hours with the lenses, we cannot ethically call this a full-fledged review. These are more so initial impressions and an overview of the lens set. So everything I'm going to be saying is really my subjective opinion. I'm going to be honest with that, and I'll just let the lenses speak for themselves and let you guys know what I think. With that being said, let's go ahead and get into the specs of these lenses. The lenses are going to come in PL mount and EF mount variations. We had a PL mount set and we were shooting on the Nikon Z8 with a PL mount adapter. The apertures on these lenses range from T1.4 to T22. The image circle is going to be 46.5 millimeters covering full frame up to VistaVision. There's going to be 16 iris blades, a manual focus throw distance of 270 degrees, a frontal diameter of 95 millimeters or 3.74 inches, a filter size of M86. All of the materials are aluminum alloy, and the length of every single lens is 120 millimeters for the PL mount, and that's going to be 4.76 inches, and 129 millimeters or 5.08 inches for the EF lenses. Now let's go ahead and talk about the variations between these lenses. For the close focusing distance, the 25 and the 35 millimeter share the same distance at 0.35 meters or 1 foot 2 inches. The 50 millimeter has a 0.5 meter or 1 foot 7 inch distance. The 75 millimeter is going to have a 0.75 meter or 2 foot 6 inch distance, and the 100 millimeter is going to have a 0.9 meter or 2 foot 11 distance. Now, before we continue on with the rest of the variations within the lenses, I have to take a moment to talk about the close focusing distance alone, as this was something that really made shooting with these lenses enjoyable and allowed us to get a variety of shots. These lenses with their close focusing distance, in my opinion, are hitting above their weight class, specifically that 100 millimeter lens. You know, if we're looking at a lens such as like the Arri Master Primes, also known as the Zeiss Master Primes, those are coming in at 3 feet and 3 inches or 39 inches overall. So to have that close focusing distance coming in under 3 feet at 2 feet and 11 inches, specifically with that 100 millimeter, really made for some fun macro shots during our time with these lenses. Moving on to the rest of the variations, we can talk about the elements in the groups. With respect to the 25 millimeter and the 35 millimeter, we're going to find ourselves with 14 elements and 11 groups. With respect to the 50 and 75 millimeter, we have 13 elements and 9 groups, and with the 100 millimeter, we have 13 elements and 8 groups. Our iris throw distance is also going to have a variation. That's going to be 77 degrees for the 25 millimeter, 80 degrees for the 35 and 50 millimeter, 82 degrees for the 75 millimeter, and 90 degrees for the 100 millimeter. DZOFILM has continued to do the same thing that they do with their previous line of lenses, keeping their iris and their focus control in the exact same place, making for a seamless experience when you're switching out lenses and hooking up control motors. The last variation of these lenses that we're going to find is with respect to their weight. Now they're all within that 3-pound range. Individually, we're going to find that the 25 millimeter comes in at 1,490 grams. The 35 millimeter is going to come in at 1,650 grams. The 50 millimeter is going to come in at 1,688 grams. The 75 millimeter comes in at 1,662 grams, and the 100 millimeter, being the heaviest, comes in at 1,830 grams. With the specifications out of the way, let's get to my thoughts on these lenses. Personally, out of all the lenses that I tested at NAB, these were my favorites. I got to test the new Pavo lenses, I got to test the Nikon Athena Primes, but these were the first set of lenses that I tested, and they really set the bar high. There's just something about the image that I can't quite explain, and to be honest, I wasn't quite a big fan of the DZO Vespit Primes. I felt like the flaring was a little too uncontrolled, which is fine, I guess, if you just have the lenses. But when I would like to perhaps do things that dirtied up the image a little bit more, right? Such as using a Pro Mist filter, I found that the image just came off too soft. To me, these lenses strike a really good balance between modern and vintage. They lean more towards the modern side without having so much character that is distracting, but still maintaining that organic feel throughout the image. So they're sharp, but they're not overly sharp. They have a really nice buttery smoothness to the focus fall off and have really good color rendition and contrast through not only the lenses themselves, but throughout each lens. When you're swapping them, you're not going to get any different performance or different color cast throughout the lenses when you're working with them. And so that makes for very consistent shooting when you're using that set. In addition to having a very nice focus fall off, these lenses also performed well optically when it came to focus breathing and chromatic aberration. We didn't see any signs of focus breathing in these lenses, and we saw virtually no chromatic aberration throughout our tests as well. And I really hate using words like organic because I feel like that's so subjective to people. But when I think about it in a use case, I feel like it's a very safe set of lenses to use in a variety of circumstances. It's going to help take your story, if you have a narrative, to the next level without it looking like it was shot on stills glass, to say the least. And I've always been personally someone who doesn't like too much distracting character from lenses, such as things like barrel distortion or crazy flaring, because I feel like I want control and I want something clean. And I tend to like that style a little bit more. So if you are somebody who likes a really dirty image, these lenses may not be for you. One of the things I want to note about the footage that you're seeing is that everything was shot with available light. So the images that you're seeing are simply the power of the Nikon Z8 and the power of the DZO Arles Primes. During our interior scenes, we simply used the available lamps that were in the hotel room, and in the exterior scenes, we simply used our knowledge of lighting and tried to light with the available ambient light or use the sun and positioned ourselves around that. And I personally like to see my lenses and my cameras tested out in a raw environment because that shows the bare bones of what you're going to get, and you can improve upon that when you're actually on your set. That being said, when we get to our full-fledged review, of course we're going to talk about the projects that we've used them on. But the one thing that we did notice was the bokeh shooting wide open, that you can get some cat eyes in the image. So that's something to keep in mind if you're shooting with these lenses at f1.4. If you want more circular bokeh, you'll have to probably stop it down a bit. It's not something that really bothered me, but I wanted to inform you, and you can see it through our sample footage. I think it's very important to be nitpicky because all of the gear that we have out here is kind of really good. These are 100% a set of lenses that I personally want to own because just with my testing, I feel like they really fit my style and the type of image that I like. And just from an experience using 3 different sets of lenses, including these, over the course of NAB, these ones have remained my favorite, and I've been so excited to share this footage with you guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give me a big thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, turn on those post notifications if you have not. Follow me on my social media, the links are in the description down below, and leave me a comment about what you guys think about these lenses. My beautiful people, now more than ever, if you're ever feeling uninspired, uncreative, or just want to give up on life, remember, every day, airplanes take off against the wind. Keep climbing, stay inspired, and as always, stay fabulous. I'm Sydney, and I'll see you beautiful people next time. Peace out.